Oh, hello there. Yes, well, Friday. I was going to do a much longer piece today about notions of postmodernism and truth in British politics, but it's too much fun to be had yesterday looking at the Lotus Eaters suddenly not having a member of their particular little boyish clan standing for reform. Uh, Hope Not Hate have been looking at various Reform Party prospective parliamentary candidates and discovering that oddly there are a bunch of cranks and oddballs and racists, a bit like UKIP stuff used to be. So you can understand why Nigel Farage doesn't want to go into an election where he's bound to be heavily involved. Let's face it, it's his company and he knows what he wants. Come on to that later. But so he's not going to want to be filled in questions about having to deal with racists the whole time. So unfortunately, HistoryBro, whatever, idiot in leather armchair, is no longer candidate. Nobody's called Bo, are they? For God's sake, what is that? Is that a Western thing? Yeah, it's a sidekick to Clint Eastwood's central character, Bo, isn't it? Anyway, Jesus. Anyway, so we had the interesting spectacle yesterday of loads and loads of people on the right melting down about this, not the least of which, of course, was the Lotus Eaters, who are people that are incapable of learning anything new. So we had Carl Benjamin, who posted up quite a bit, and Carl Benjamin's foray last into politics, of course, was when he was standing as a candidate, and he decided that in the face of his enormously disgusting misogyny being pointed out, that he'd double down. So of course that's what he's decided to do again this time, yeah, because that'll work, Carl. That always has a good pedigree to it. And of course, you had Connor Tomlinson, didn't we? Okay, who's taken a leaf out of the 2016 alt-right playbook, whereby he was just still having a laugh. Yeah. When he was talking about gassing people, he didn't really mean it. You lefties are always so, triggered by that. Doesn't work then. Didn't work then in 2016. Doesn't work now, Connor. Okay, Connor, we know what you are because of what you sound like, because of what you say, because of what you do. Yeah, all the stuff you write, all the stuff you come out with, it leads us to believe, including all the guests you have, where exactly you stand. And unfortunately, we don't find it funny, mate. Yes. And of course, we have the usual people who magically can't really understand exactly what's going on. Well, it's quite simple, really. Reform are not there to get MPs. That's not the name of the game. Reform are there to represent certain very, very heavily moneyed business interests, Richard Chase and his backers, to ensure that the next domineering section in the Conservative Party is one that is very much on the libertarian American rabid right. That's what that's about. They want their person to be the next leader of the party, and they will do their best to make sure that the final assets, including your grandma, are finally stripped out from the UK. That's what they're there for. That's what Brexit was there for, okay? They have learnt things. You lot, however, don't. You still think magically you're living in a world where Reform are there to get MPs. They're not. Yeah. Grow up, people. Understand exactly what goes on. Now, you might need a left-wing perspective from that. I'm sorry if you haven't got one. It might be worthwhile reading a bit of Karl Marx or something similar. Then, maybe, you can see just why it is that you feel so alienated. Or, if you want to have a more right-wing view to it, that sense of enemy. Anyway, do have a lovely Friday. It is the weekend. I will try and do that longer piece. If events, dear boy, events, don't, catch up with me first.